Welcome to our deep dive into the UK economy, where we'll bring you the big picture from 2015 to 2025, showing where the economy has been, what the key numbers look like, and what it all means. If you're studying A-level economics, this is your chance to blend data with real-world context. Let's break it down. First up, interest rates and inflation, a classic pair in macroeconomics. After the pandemic and global shocks, which has included supply chain issues, energy prices, and the Russia-Ukraine conflict, inflation has surged up to 11.1% in October 22. The Bank of England responded by raising interest rates to cool demand. This leads to higher borrowing costs and more expensive mortgages. Then, as inflation began to moderate, the bank paused and held rates steady at around 4%. Why this matters? Well, firstly, higher inflation erodes purchasing power. This means you buy less with the same amount of money. High interest rates also raise the cost of borrowing for households and firms, and this can reduce spending, which brings inflation downwards, but also can slow growth in the economy. The spread between inflation and interest rates is important. When inflation is above interest rates, real interest rates are negative. This encourages borrowing and discourages saving. And when the opposite occurs, vice versa is also true. So the key takeaway for the UK economy is that while inflation remains higher than expected and interest rates are high, the UK is currently in a period of operating under tighter financial controls than much of the previous decade. Next is all about people's incomes and living standards, a vital part for economics and for understanding the economy's impact on society. In nominal terms, i.e. just the raw figures in your accounts, for most people, incomes have risen. For example, the median household income before housing costs in the financial year of 2024 was approximately £34,000 per year. But this doesn't show the real story. When you adjust for inflation, many households are much worse off. Research shows that incomes for typical non-pension households are hardly any higher than 2018 to 2019, and this could be even lower for people in lower income groups. For example, the UK saw one of the largest drops in real household disposable income on record in 2022, with a 4.3% drop. This means that while numbers of income might be going up, the amount you're able to buy is actually decreasing. Why this matters? Well, with nominal wage growth, everybody thinks things are going well. If inflation is high and real wages fall, the standard of living is not increasing. And living standards are related specifically to real incomes. Cost of housing, energy bills, and food, all of these go into how much you're able to buy. When households feel worse off, this can decrease consumption, create social and political issues, and weaken growth for the economy. While the UK economy has grown, many people's real incomes have stagnated or even declined. The idea of a normal rise in living standards has been delayed or even reversed. This is a critical context for understanding the decade ahead. In this final section, we are going to compare how the UK economy has grown against other economies internationally. According to the latest ONS data, the UK's real GDP grew by 1.3% for 2024. When comparing that to other countries, we can see that post-pandemic recovery in the UK has been almost 1.1% slower compared to that of the Eurozone. While forecasts suggest that the UK might be among the faster growing G7 economies in 2026, figures are still looking very modest. Despite the challenges, unemployment has still remained relatively low compared with many past recessions in the UK. Some sectors, such as the service industry and the digital sector, continue to show good resilience in the UK. And the UK still remains a top global financial centre with a strong service sector export potential. Modest growth does mean that the UK economy is not booming, which is going to limit room for big improvements in living standards and major investment. The bright spots indicate that while macro numbers are weak, there are pockets of strength and opportunity, which is useful for policymakers, businesses, and students of economics alike. So that's the story so far. Inflation is high, interest rates are high, living standards are under pressure, and growth is modest.